Hello, and welcome to the Twos of the Tarot. Today we will hit the highlights of the twos of the minor arcana to help you with your own readings, or if you happen to read for others. Tarot readings can be used to gain insight and understanding into a variety of areas, including relationships, career, and personal growth. The cards can also provide guidance and direction on specific questions or issues. Before we begin, I just want to say that the meanings I present are ones I found to be most often the truth in my experience and practice. But your practice and experience may mean that your own personal meanings diverge from mine. That's totally fine, and neither of us is wrong. All I hope in any case is that there is something in here that you can use or find helpful in some way. So, with that, let's dig in. The twos of the minor arcana of the tarot typically represent balance and harmony, as well as the beginning of a new cycle or phase. The twos are often associated with the concept of duality and can indicate the presence of opposites or conflicting forces that must be reconciled in order to achieve balance. In a reading, the twos can suggest that the querent is at a crossroads or at a time of decision making, and that they must choose between two different paths or options. They can also indicate a need to find balance and stability in one's life, or to bring two opposing elements together in order to create harmony. The Kabbalah Tree of Life is a diagram used in the Kabbalah, which is a form of Jewish mysticism. The Sephirah represent the different aspects of the energy called God by some, and the paths represent the different ways in which the divine form of intelligence interacts with the world. So the Tree of Life is made up of 10 spheres, or Sephirah, which are connected by 22 paths. Each sphera represents a different aspect of the divine, and the paths represent the connections between them. The ultimate goal of Kabbalah is to understand and connect with the Sephira in order to achieve enlightenment and union with the divine, however you perceive it. The Smith Rider-Waite deck was created by members of the Golden Dawn, and while we aren't going to go into the history of that today, what we can see clearly is that the deck makes many references and connections to Kabbalah. For instance, each path on the Tree of Life corresponds to a Hebrew letter, and each major arcana card corresponds to a Hebrew letter. Tarot as we know it today was not designed to mirror Kabbalah. The deck most of us start out with is more like if you threw the mystic wisdom of several ancient cultures, plus astrology, in a bowl, and then sorted out all the pieces that seem to belong together. That's sort of what the classic deck captures. Then when we use the deck and peel back each layer of each card, all of that wisdom and understanding kind of harmonizes into a meaning or insight that we can use. In my practice, I use the Tree of Life to help find the roots of issues that I consult with tarot on, so that's why each of these videos will touch on this topic as it relates to tarot. The second Sephira in the Tree of Life is in Kabbalah is called Chokmah, which means wisdom or intelligence in Hebrew. It represents the first act of creation, the beginning of the process of bringing forth the universe from the infinite, unknowable source that bursts through the aces of the minor arcana. In Kabbalistic thought, Chokmah is the source of all knowledge. It's the primal light that's the origin of understanding. It represents the masculine principle and is associated with the right side of the Tree of Life, which is also associated with the right brain and the right side of the body. It's also associated with the element of fire and the quality of wisdom. It is said that Chokmah is the first emanation of the divine intelligence, aka God as you perceive it, and that is the source of all understanding and wisdom. It is also connected with intuition, inspiration, and the ability to understand things that are not immediately obvious. So with that, let's get into the cards. So this card is like the origin story for the Emperor. Another name for this card is the Lord of Dominion. Nothing is going to stand in this person's way because we have a Mars-Aries double whammy. We have a figure with big ambitions, and they have the passion to carry it through. In a reading, we feel that coming through as someone knowing what they want and making the plans to get it. All you have to do with this card is remember Mars and Aries. One way or another, they plan to get what they want. This card is also associated with artists and scientists, which on the surface sounds kind of strange, but if you think about it, it takes motivation to try to bring a concept or question to life. It can also mean seeking a second opinion or knowledge that you don't have from somebody else. In its reversal, we're faced with a variety of options. Reversals are fantastic because they can give us a diagnosis or a view of the problem to be solved. They take some investigation, though. See what surrounds them, as the reversal might be asking us to combine that card with a neighboring card or cards to give us more information. If this card is alone, ask some questions to see what the specific problem is and how the cards suggest they fix it. A reversal like this can show us something that happens, like an unexpected package or parcel. Usually not an unexpected letter, there's another card for that, but it can show us how other people feel about something. If those are true, the remedy is to kind of flip the card upright and do what you can to prepare for that, or plan for an opportunity to have a conversation with someone to get them back in balance. You need to know something. That is what the two shows you. Whenever you get a card with connection to the moon, it's likely that there's something unknown and unknowable in the mix. In this card, we have a lack of visibility and a posture of defense. This person can't see, so they can't receive information that will enable them to get past whatever it is that's blocking them. This card shares similarities with the Justice card. In the Justice card, we have a figure holding a sword in one hand and scales in the other. Here, we have a figure holding two swords, the sword of logic and the sword of reason, and only by wielding those will the right decision be reached. A good question to ask here is, what are they holding back on? The best general advice this card gives is to suspend judgment. Just sit tight, because you do not have all the information you need right now to make the best move. When approaching reversals, it helps to read the upright first, because it will take you into the realm of understanding, and then you can read the reversal. Some cards cause psychic moments, and this is one of them. Just feel this card out. Don't only rely on what others have said or what a book says or what I said to figure out what this card means. If you let it, it will tell you you do not need a reference. But in the event that nothing comes through here, you can be guided by those established meanings. And generally, when this card comes up, I often get that there is a coming resolution. So the answer to something or information that you need is right on the horizon, usually within about 2 weeks. This is a great card to express the concept of duality, or the ideas of yin and yang, positive and negative, push and pull, all of those. While it is a great card for most situations, it stands for more than just like a soulmate connection. This is a powerful card for alchemy, healing, and even the idea of like the encountering of evil. Anything we don't understand makes us ask ourselves, is this okay? When we meet situations or people we're unfamiliar with, we do a quick calculation in our minds of, how compatible or okay we are with that situation. In most cases, this card shows us that we are more than okay with a person because you really hit it off with them. Something in this will communicate a concept of our assessment of how a relationship is forming or how we're mixing with situations that involve others. Where we had some harmony with the upright, here we have some dysfunction around the fact, like where there were some attachments that are becoming troublesome. And this can be the darker side of having a significant other, if there are codependence issues, or if one person sort of resigns their personal responsibility over themselves and expects their partner to carry that for them. Of course, no partnership or relationship is without its occasional bumps, and this reversal could certainly reflect like minor friction. It doesn't mean that someone's on the path for breakup unless another card confirms that, but it does call our attention back to regaining that harmony And note that I didn't say balance, which implies that energy or responsibilities are supposed to be 50-50. Often that's an impossible standard. What is important is trying to find like that sweet spot where each person is feeling a similar measure of appreciation and understanding. In the Pentacles, this card shows us something very straightforward, and you could certainly look at most of the twos and feel out their meaning without ever looking at a book, without ever having someone speak on it and you listening to what they think it means. But we can still talk about it a little bit and some of the nuance the Pentacles have. So most of the issues people will bring to you or problems they need to solve have a connection in the real world. Money, jobs, stuff, property. Most of us have one or more of them on our mind pretty regularly. And the Pentacles being the suit to express happenings related to that gives us an illusion that the Pentacles are simple. As we go through the rest of the numbers, I'm going to show you the subtle power they carry that actually makes them heavy hitters. As we dig into them, of course. Remember that they are the earth element and they can go deep underground. When we look at this card, we see multiples. We have many things being handled, seemingly with ease. It looks like everything is in harmony, in sync, cruising along. It takes a lot more effort. It takes a lot of effort, actually, to make things look effortless. So a couple of questions I'd ask a seeker are, what multiple situations are you handling? What are you juggling in order to maintain equilibrium? Since the subject is so engaged in all the activities they have on the go, are all of those forces outside them making it hard for them to focus on their growth? Another way to look at it might be if you played a role-playing game and you were so focused on the side quests that you forgot about the main quest or the storyline. In the reversal, we have the shadow side of the upright. This is like trying to drink from a fire hose. There's just too much, and no matter how well you try to hide it, you know deep down that you're going to spiral out. And this is a never-ending feeling. Generally refers to an ongoing struggle. So the advice here might be to make a plan and focus. Remove all the options that are not ideal. Having too many options can cause us to shut down or ignore an issue, when what we need to do is try to look at everything we have on our plate and start seeing what's not serving us. So we take that away or we push it to the back. We try to isolate the one thing or like a small handful of things that really matter and just focus on those. And the idea is to help you get your groove back. This card can also warn us of the consequences of not keeping things in balance. So thank you so much for watching. There is no way that I covered off all the many meanings the cards have. I tried to just hit the highlights. If you have a few books from some of the core writers or teachers of the last 100 years, you have plenty of material to work with as you develop your psychic skills. I just hope there's a little bit here that you found useful, something that helps a card open up to you as you practice. If you pause the video at different spots, you'll be able to read them as you need them. But if you wanted to have a printable copy of all these cards, all those slides that we've looked at so far, those are available to patrons on Lost and Found Patreon, if you are by any chance interested in supporting it, which would be terrific. Thank you very much for considering it. Hopefully you'll hop over to the next video in the series where we go over the threes of the minor arcana. So take care, and remember, practice makes predictive.